everyone, it's Mel with the Quilting Room with Mel, and I am back with another video for you. Today I'm going to show you how to quilt on the Supernova Julia by Necchi. I've done a video on the, excuse me, I've done a video on the machine and how to use all of the basic functions of it. But I've gotten a couple emails asking if you can free motion quilt on the machine, and of course the answer is yes. This machine actually happens to be my primary quilting machine. If I am going to be quilting on a domestic machine, this is the machine I use. This is my go-to. I want to show you the foot first, and this is it. Okay. And it's called, I call it a hopping foot. Some people call it a darning foot. It has the spring here, and that's how you know that's the one that we want. It's got some spring action. It's going to bounce along, so we need to put it on. I'm going to try to do this without blocking the camera, which is going to be a little backwards. Okay. I get it tight just with my finger, and then I go in with a screwdriver and go a half a turn more. Okay. I don't want it super tight, but I don't want it coming loose either while we quilt, and that can happen pretty easy with a hopping foot. Because it is traveling so much, it is bouncing so much. So I'm going to thread my needle. And I actually am going to stop the video to do this because I have to get my head down there to see it, and you guys don't want to watch the back of my head for a few minutes. So I'll be right back with you. Okay, I have my needle threaded. And if you're noticing a little difference with the video this time, I am filming on my iPad because there'll be some times I want to swing it around, and it's much easier to swing around my little iPad than it is to swing around my big regular video camera. So I have my needle threaded. My bobbin thread isn't through. We've got to pull it up. And we also have to get the thread in under our presser foot, because it won't work unless we do. So what I'm going to do, there's a little notch on the foot, and I'm going to hook my thread in that notch and pull it towards the back. Okay? There's the notch right there. Okay, I just popped my thread out of it. There's a little notch right there. And that's where I'm putting my thread through. Okay, in that. And then just pull it around back. Now I'm going to hold that end. Okay, and I'm going to, just like normal, pull it up till I see a loop for the bobbin. And I'm going to stop. Okay, and this is, I'm not so much worried about my bobbin thread right now. I'm looking for that little white thread from the top. And I'm trying to get a hold of it. And of course I'm using my scissors. Okay, every once in a while you can see it. It does take a little bit. Okay, I've got the loop worked here pretty good. Now I can get a hold of it. And I'm going to pull it through. Okay. Now my thread is inside the opening here. Kind of stick my scissors in there so you can see it. Okay. Now my thread's through and I can quilt. Sorry about that. Had to block you. When you do free motion quilting, and this foot especially, that foot will not grab and move your fabric like a regular foot would, you know, like this one. Okay. This is actually the foot that I use if I'm going to do straight line quilting. Okay. Nice open area there. It is a plastic foot, but it's Teflon coated on the back. And that's what I like for straight line quilting. But we are doing free motioning today. So we have to drop our feed dogs. And honestly, the easiest machine I have ever had to drop feed dogs is this machine. It is so simple, much easier than even my modern machine. So I'm going to move the camera over. Okay, here's the front of the machine. Let's not put our hands over the camera. And we have this knob. And this is what controls our feed dogs. So to disengage them, or drop them, we push down, you'll hear a click, and they are now dropped. That means that the feed dogs are not going to grab the fabric while we quilt. So I have a little sandwich here of fabric and batting. If this fabric looks familiar to you, it is the same fabric that I just used to do my bowl cozy tutorial. If you have not checked that out, please do. I know you've seen the bowl cozies before, but I have an octagon one up there that my husband designed. So be sure to check that out. I'll leave a link in the video if you want to. And I wasted that time self-promoting so I could put on my quilting gloves. Okay? These are not truly quilting gloves. If you look, they're working hand gloves. Bought them in the lawn and garden section of my local farm and tractor supply company. And they're about half the price, and they really are a lot better than any of the quilting gloves I've found. Because they're for women, and my hands are teeny tiny, and they swim in most gloves. So, as my husband says, I have kindergarten hands. So I'm going to put my needle down, take a couple stitches, just to anchor. Now some quilters will pull their bobbin thread up. I don't. Okay? And if you look, and I'm going to go real slow moving this, you will see the foot and how it travels. So right now I'm down. I can't move my fabric. And as I come up, my needle bar over here on this side, which you can't see, is going to hit the little bar that was sticking out on that foot. And it's actually going to, you can see the spring starting to get collapsed as the needle bar comes up, and that lifts the foot, and now I can move my fabric. And as I make my stroke, start the downside, it disengages the spring, the foot drops back down and takes a stitch. Okay? So I'm going to put my needle down. I've taken way more stitches there than I need to. I'm going to do a little free motion quilting for you. I will be the first one to tell you, free motion quilting is not my strong suit, but the only way to get better is to practice, and that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to try to keep one hand out of the way so you can see. And you can see I am guiding my fabric. Okay, so when I move the fabric is doing the stitch length, and I'm going to stop right here. Make sure that foot's down. I need to cut my thread so I don't sew over it. Because it's easier to get rid of now than it is to if you've sewn over it. Okay? So the faster my machine's going and the faster I'm moving my fabric, the bigger the stitches. The slower I do everything, and the smaller the stitches. You certainly don't have to go super fast, super slow with your machine. It just needs to be consistent, and you get to decide what you like. I like a little bit bigger stitch on mine, so I try to move a little bit faster. Your stitch length regulator on the side of your machine will not help. You are your stitch regulator because the feed dogs are not working right now. They're not moving the fabric. So, here we go. Let's do a little bit more. And it's okay, you can cross the lines. There are no quilting bleeds. No one's going to come knock on your door and go, ah, you crossed that line, you. No. It's all up to you. Okay. I got my hand in the way of the camera as I came down. And I'm just doing a meandering, so I'm just wandering around as I stitch. I'm going to cut my thread and actually show you guys what I did. Let me get my gloves off. Clip that thread. And ta-da! We just did some free motion quilting on the Necchi Julia. And that's it. It's super easy to do. You certainly don't have to have a new fancy machine to do this. There are much better videos out there for the actual process of free motion quilting. I know I'm not the greatest at it, but if you're just starting out, you're going to be like me, and the only thing I can say is you have to keep practicing. It's like anything else. Practice makes perfect. Practice, practice, practice. That's what's so great about the bowl cozies. You get a lot of practice in with your free motion quilting doing those. So I suggest you head over to the blog, check out that tutorial. Remember, I am always here to answer questions for you. You can shoot me an email at quiltingroomwithmel@gmail.com. Probably the quickest way to get a hold of me is that way. You can find me on Facebook at Home Ec with Mel. You can find me on Twitter with that. You can find me on Instagram. I think Instagram and Twitter I'm only Home Ec Mel, not Home Ec with Mel. Pinterest Home Ec with Mel. I'm out there, folks. Find me. Leave a comment on the blog. Leave a comment on the video. I will find it. I will get back to you. And I'm here to help. So, thanks again for the email question. Hope the video helps. And I will see you guys later. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.